Hi, everyone, and welcome to our digital travel webinar sponsored by Mountain Have At Will Travel, why CTV is the window to the world for jet setters. Thank you all for joining us today. And today we're going to dive into trends and use data-backed insights and performance advertising strategies that drive conversions. And if you have any questions for our speaker today, feel free to submit them at any time during this presentation using the Q&A tool at the bottom of your screen, and we'll get to them soon. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Tim Edmundson, Director of Content and Research at Mountain. Take it away, Tim.
Hello, thank you so much. Thank you to WBR for hosting us today, and thank you everyone for showing up and watching this. I'm excited to dive in to the world of connected TV and travel marketing, travel brands, and all that fun stuff. So let's dive in, shall we? That's me. Hello, I'm your presenter. As mentioned, Tim Edmundson, Director of Content and Research at Mountain. And a little bit about my background. I've been working in the connected TV advertising space for a long time. Been with Mountain for over 6 years now. And so that's given me a unique vantage point when it comes to the world of CTV advertising. I got to see it in its early stages and its evolution to where we are now. Back in the day when it was just kind of like very few ad-supported services out there. Now everyone's ad-supported. It's been a fun kind of wild ride. I've had a front row seat to it all. And so along the way, I've learned a lot, immersed myself in a lot of data, a lot of statistics. And so I'm going to be sharing some of those with you today. So super stoked to do that. Let's dive into the key takeaway of the day. So by the time we walk out of here or exit out of the screen, I guess, this is what we're really going to hit hard. 2022, it's a good year for travel. It's a big comeback year. The pandemic we're increasingly in a post-pandemic world. We're in the most post-pandemic world we've been in since it started, really. And that has caused consumers to really up their interest in getting out there and seeing things again. And so leading travel marketers to stay ahead of that curve and get the most out of this opportunity, they are looking to update things. They're looking to different technologies. They're looking to new strategies to really capture the consumer's attention and make sure that when they are exploring the world, it's with them. So we're going to dive into all that fun stuff and cover it all. So today's agenda, this year is a big opportunity for building brand loyalty. So we'll dive into that. We're going to share some insights from a survey that we sponsored with WBR, which we used to poll top travel marketers and get a sense of what they're doing, the channels they're interested in, what they're planning on doing in the next year. A lot of interesting insights from that. So we'll share a bit of that. Stay tuned till the end. We'll be sharing a QR code that will, you just scan that, you get a download of it. Very cool. We're going to dive into why CTV is being used by travel brands and the new marketing tactics and tools that are emerging with that use. So travel is back, which is awesome, right? Past few years have been touch and go, kind of quiet, not the best. But you've had folks that have been getting out there, but now the numbers are surging upwards. You likely know these stats. If you're in this industry, you're probably very aware of what's going on. But what's the story here? You're seeing a ton of money being spent in summer travel this year. They want to get out there and explore the sunshine. Last year during the holiday season, when the sun wasn't shining even, you saw over 100 million people getting out there and traveling. And 7 in 10 Americans have travel plans for this year. They want to go out. They want to go on a vacation. They want to stay in a hotel. They want to ride in an airplane, rent a car, all that fun stuff. And that means 7 out of 10 of those people are also potential customers for you. So what are they doing? Why are they doing this? Obviously, we've been just kind of covered that, but this gives me an opportunity to mention one of my favorite terms that I've seen lately. It's called revenge travel. It's ridiculous. What is revenge travel? Well, folks are looking to take revenge in the past few years. They haven't been able to get out there. They haven't been able to explore the world. And so they want to take revenge against COVID. They want to start spending, taking vacations, and they want to go big, 65%. You see it right there. They plan to go big this year. An almost equal amount are looking to make up for lost time. And so what this presents travel brands is an opportunity to really start to claim a lot of new business, because these folks have been shuttered up for a little bit, and they're looking to see who can help facilitate these new adventures they want to go on. And that's, a big opportunity for everyone on this call. So with that opportunity comes a bit of a changed landscape. This obviously the last few years, things have changed rapidly. It feels like the rate of change, the pace in which it goes has never been quicker. It's felt like the last 3 years have been 10 years. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same. So what's different now? Back then, social was huge, and it still is. Don't get me wrong, but there's been a lot of changes, especially on the advertising side, when it comes to targeting, measurement. Apple's privacy changes took a big chunk out of it. You just have to look at Meta's stock price to get a sense of how much that is affecting social advertising. And so that bite-sized content now has pretty steep competition from the largest screen in the home, which is the TV screen. And you wouldn't think that to be the case if it was just linear TV out there. Fewer people are watching that, but they're not moving just to nothing. They're not just sitting and staring at a blank screen. They're streaming TV now, connected TV. That's a big one. And travel brands are really starting to spend not only on linear TV, but also on streaming TV, on connected TV. And therein lies the big opportunity, and also the reason we're even talking today. Why is connected TV so important? And why do we believe so much in it that our whole business is built around it, right? Well, the COVID pandemic really fast-tracked a lot. Like e-commerce, you saw people ordering online an immense amount more. That just went through the roof, right? Because they didn't have an alternative. That was probably going to happen over time anyway. That was where the trend lines were going. But the fact that people just couldn't go to a physical location, fast-tracked that. Boom, now there's a new consumer habit. And it's hard to lose a habit once you've got it. And e-commerce is locked in. You're going to see these numbers. They're not going to drop off very much. Same goes for watching TV. Streaming TV, it's on demand. It's high-quality content. The advertising on it is more minimal. You see the little ad 1 of 3, you have a countdown timer, the ad experience is better. A lot more folks started watching streaming TV. And that's good news for travel marketers, I think, because in travel, you're kind of selling emotion, you're selling the experience. And you can't really do that so much with a text ad or a small display ad, or even on a social ad where it's being viewed on a small screen. Yeah, you get those visuals in there, but it's not so much immersive. There's a reason the TV screen is the premier ad medium out there. There's a reason why at the end of the year, they do the top 10 TV ads of the year versus top 10 display ads, right? There's a certain prestige, there's a certain panache to the television. And so if you're a travel brand and you're looking to reach folks, TV is a very great place to do so, because it allows you to convey a lot of the value of what you have and really immerse people in your message. But obviously, we live in a digital world, and the digital advertising side of things has really kind of instilled this notion that you should be able to track everything. You should be able to target the right audiences. You should be able to measure the outcomes of your ads, tie them back to direct outcomes. And obviously, we're talking TV, linear TV, can't do that. That's been a dream for traditional broadcast and cable for a long time, but you just can't. There's not that one-to-one connection. But connected TV being a digital medium, you have that. And so you're able to take advantage of it. It's the intersection of both worlds. So with that in mind, we were curious when we partnered up with WBR to ask travel marketers what's going on with CTV. We wanted to get a sense of the landscape and see what's happening, how people are treating it right now in this industry, and how they are planning to treat it in the future. And our results were interesting. You see them there, 66%, that's 2 out of every 3, say CTV ads play a significant role in their strategy. 70% of them polled are running CTV ads, and 82% said they can effectively tie outcomes and success back to their campaigns. And the 82% for me sticks out because with Mountain, this is a shameless plug, but it's going to help me make a point, so I apologize. our platform is very much performance oriented, and our platform is very much built towards optimizing towards specific goals that affect your bottom line. It offers a reporting suite. You can track a million things: website visits, conversions, revenue, return on ad spend, cost per acquisition, blah, 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 a bunch, right? If 82%, I feel that's a low number. And I think that might be because as more travel brands are exploring CTV, they are working with a lot of different solutions, partners, et cetera. And not every one of them will approach CTV the same way. You have that linear TV mindset, which was, what's TV? It's an awareness channel. It's top of the funnel. You use it for awareness. You don't really expect too much in terms of reporting. I think that mindset still lives a little bit, and not only on the advertiser side, but also on the solution side. And so I expect that 82% next year to be higher as more people kind of realize what you can do with connected TV. So as we look towards the future, we also asked these marketers, what are you planning to do next year? And we're seeing a rise in CTV in that marketing mix. But it's you look at those percentages here. There are other digital channels in terms of digital advertising that are outranking it right now. And you look at this, you've got PPC, native ads, social media display. What are the commonalities between those? Is that they're very close to the point of sale. They are ad channels where you can tie performance to the ad, justify the ad spend, right? That's kind of what people use digital for. 52% CTV is coming in with people wanting to prioritize it. I think, again, this is kind of the reason why we're having this conversation today. Want to raise awareness of that CTV is actually not only just a top funnel solution, you can also hit the middle funnel, you hit the bottom funnel. It's a very useful ad medium, and especially for travel, for the reasons we mentioned before. So it's the next big thing. That's basically what I just said. Marketers are catching on, which is great. It complements other ad channels. We've seen that on our own platform. There's this halo effect because, again, TV, prestige ad channel, very effective for awareness traditionally. It raises awareness of your brand. People are more likely to notice your ads on other channels and take action because you've hit them with this very immersive, engaging audio and visual format that will get you noticed. And we expect, I said this before, but as those digital ad budgets, more people plan to spend next year, CTV will become a bigger piece of that pie once the awareness continues to grow and people realize what they can do with it. Why is CTV a hit? Well, mentioned earlier, people were streaming more in the pandemic, which is fantastic for both mountain and travel advertisers for the reasons listed. 86% of them who are interested in travel watch connected TV. 77% watch ad-supported CTV, which is kind of an important point, right? That number, you better believe, will grow because every major streaming service these days either has an ad-supported tier or is launching one. Netflix, the last bastion of ad-free streaming, really came out earlier in the year and just said, all right, we have to launch it. We have to start running ads because that's what the market wants. That's what consumers are leaning towards. And we've seen that. I mean, I've seen that in my research over the years is that people really like that trade-off of paying a little bit less for TV if they have to watch ads. Cable, they're paying a lot anyway, and they still have to watch the ads. Streaming, lighter ad load, and also already more affordable. You can carve off a little bit more, a few dollars every month if you're leaning on an ad-supported subscription. And so streamers really like that. So you'll see more and more folks adopt ad-supported streaming as time moves on. CTV for the advertiser side, it's got an audience-first approach. So traditionally, you would buy ads based on the programming or the network, right? You would say, oh, the travel channel, I bet our travel audience is there. So you would buy on travel. But those viewers are not just watching travel channel all day. They are bouncing around. They've got a lot of varied interests, right? Everyone's a complex individual and has varying things they enjoy. And so to be able to target the audience, reach the audience, regardless of what they're watching, and you're following them around. So if they're watching HGTV or travel or Bravo, wherever it may be, Hulu, and you're able to serve them an ad, you're getting a lot more exposure with them, and you're able to engage with your audience a lot more effectively. And not only are you able to reach them where they're watching, you're actually able to zero in on the folks who are more likely to engage with your brand. You can segment audiences by interest, demographics, location. It's very similar to digital, where you have these targeting options, a plethora of them, and you kind of look for the way to find your ideal audience. You can do that with connected TV, which is awesome. And it allows you to really tailor your message, serve one that you're confident that you know that will really spark interest, and not waste ad budget just hitting a bunch of randoms who really aren't going to be interested in what you're offering. So it's a smarter way to advertise on CTV, or I'm sorry, on TV. So let's look at an example of that in action. We worked with CampSpot, which is a premier travel booking site. Campgrounds, RVs, being outdoors, it's fantastic. I recommend it. So they were looking to build brand awareness, TV play, right? But also wanted to generate a return on ad spend, a measurable return on ad spend, which before CTV wouldn't be possible. This is what they were trying to do. It's a new world. So they were trying to reach folks to help them catch up on travel. And they leveraged the performance TV platform, that's Mountain's connected TV ad solution. And they launched multiple campaigns. I had made mention that the connected TV allows you to hit all stages of the funnel, right? So you're seeing that in action here. Prospecting, that's that top of the funnel. You're trying to reach these new users based on those interests that match with CampSpot's ideal customer profile. They then retargeted those viewers. So use prospecting, get them to visit the website, right? Generate that interest, visit the website. Now that they visited the website, they can hit them with a retargeting campaign or a remarketing campaign served on TV, which is remarkable, right? That's crazy. We're in the future. So they were able to continue that story with them, continue to build those touch points, build familiarity. And then they also had some display ads that were also served alongside of the connected TV ads to help immerse the audience in the brand's message, regardless of where they were spending their digital time, right? Everyone's kind of bouncing around between screens these days. In fact, if you're watching TV, you probably have like your phone or your iPad or laptop or whatever with you. I know I'm guilty of that. And so you kind of have to adjust to that consumer behavior. If that's how people are as a multi-screen world, it's important to make sure you're hitting them on multiple screens. And so what did all that end up doing? A lot of good for them. They really blew their goals out of the water. They drove very good return on ad spend. They had a very strong conversion rate. They lowered their cost per acquisition. It was just a very successful campaign. And it was because they were tapping into not only connected TV, which is like, oh, it's a new way of watching TV, but they were approaching it in the right way. They were not just looking at impressions served and reach. That's the old mindset. You want to have the new mindset. You want to be able to use this ad channel to its full potential. If you're not, you're kind of just you're wasting the opportunity. You can really do a lot of good with connected TV. So be like CampSpot. They did great stuff. You can too. So updating those CTV strategies. We talked, this is a new world. And so on TV, obviously back in the day, you could geo-target on linear TV, but it was on DMAs and they weren't exactly accurate or too, they were big. They were kind of all over the place. Like you would have a DMA that would stretch across multiple states and you'd be reaching folks in a city that you might not actually be wanting to reach them in. With connected TV, you're able to really focus in on your targeting. You can really zero in. I think you can get down to as low as the zip code level, city, state, et cetera. It gives you a lot more flexibility in where your ads are connecting with folks. And it gives you the chance to really tailor that message to a location, which is good, right? Personalization matters in advertising. And if you're able to speak to their environment or where they're living, it's a useful thing to do. Affinity-based targeting, again, this was mentioned earlier, but being able to target folks based on their interests, what they are looking to do, what their previous shopping behaviors were. Basically, like find the folks who like the stuff that you offer, right? And you're able to do that with CTV. And it unlocks a lot of opportunities, newer opportunities for viewers who are looking to make new travel experiences. You're able to connect with those folks and you can create avenues to develop that brand loyalty and instill those new travel habits and really catch people as they are re-emerging into the world and looking for new adventures. So it's a very useful tactic. And here's another one that I think isn't immediately obvious to a lot of folks, but the flexibility that's found in connected TV advertising is extremely useful, and you can use it to your advantage on the creative front. So if you, let's say you have, let's see the examples we have here, right? Tourist towns can update creative to reflect seasonal events and changes. Car rental brands can update to reflect new sales or promos. How does that work? It works because CTV is a digital ad channel. So if you're updating, creative assets on a social platform, it's usually a matter of clicking a few buttons, right? If it's self-serve. It's the same process on connected TV. If you're using the right ad solution, hint, Mountain, our platform is self-serve. If you want to update creative, it's just a few clicks of a mouse. It's a file, you upload it, boom, it starts serving your new ad. It's very useful for creative management purposes, allows you to stay nimble, allows you to offer fresh incentives, and you're able to do that across your campaigns. We talked about targeting different areas. You have new creative for those campaigns. It's very easy to manage. It's all just a few clicks of a mouse. Compare that to the old way of linear TV, of getting an ad live and serving, convoluted process. It's not the case with connected TV any longer. It's very much in line with the digital channels that are so popular with travel marketers today. So, all right, well, this is definitely the shameless plug slide. So yeah, I scattered these points throughout, but I mean, this is kind of the rundown of why the platform is important. And the more I am in connected TV as an industry, and I learn so much about like the different directions different solutions are going and how people are engaging with it, the more confident I am in that there is a right way to do it. And I think like I'm being a bit of a homer here. I'm being a Mountain person, but I think we're doing it the right way. And I think the features that we have in our platform allow you to really make the most of this opportunity. Again, when I saw those stats from our report where the numbers weren't as high as I figured they would be, I think like people need to start using it in this way. They're going to like it a lot more, and it'll gain a lot more traction, which it already has in this industry, but it will continue to rise, and folks will get the most out of it. And that's pretty much the end of the presentation, you guys. So some key takeaways that we should cover. This is an interesting time. It's one of those moments where you kind of get a refresh and a reset on how people are engaging with travel, and that allows you to get your foot in the door, and you are given a big opportunity. So make the most of it. And the best way you can really is to capitalize on an ad medium that takes advantage of the visual and audio format, really immerses folks in your messaging and your story, and you're able to target and measure the impact. Like that's a big deal. Like it's fortuitous for travel, and this moment's coming along when an ad channel like this is really finding its feet and really starting to prove a lot of worth for folks. Senior travel marketers, they're starting to adopt it more and more. They are looking to dive into different strategies, and I think that those folks are your competition. Or maybe you answer this survey, who's to say? But the other folks in that survey are your competition. And so you need to be aware of what they're doing. You need to beat them to the punch. It's a really good idea to find new ways to engage. And I think connected TV is the best opportunity out there right now. And that's because folks, again, have spent the pandemic forming new habits, stream more content. Now's the time to really jump in and reach them where they're spending their time at home. And that new tech that will allow you to do that. You can make the most of this opportunity, use these new tactics, use this new ad channel, and yeah, make a lot of money, I guess. And I think that's it. I think we're into the Q&A section now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tim. So yeah, we're going to take a couple of minutes to dive into a few questions from the audience. One of the first questions is from Kevin. Kevin asks, doesn't QR enable tracking of linear TV?
Yeah, it does. So that's a fun thing, right? Remember the Coinbase Super Bowl ad? that was a prime example of a QR code in action. And their ad was stripped down as much as possible into like gimmick mode, right? But it was just a QR code bouncing around like an old screensaver. That does allow you to track, but you are relying on somebody scanning that QR code or being in that moment and doing that. Is that going to net everyone who saw that ad and eventually visited your website? It won't. It will capture that one moment, but advertising, we all know it's a series of touch points. There's whole attribution models built on last touch, first touch, et cetera, multi-touch. This is a complicated science, and the QR code on linear does give them a little bit of a hack to be able to tie performance specifically to an ad, but they're missing the full picture. And that's what a really strong attribution model and measurement does, which is what CTV offers. For example, the way that we at Mountain handle this is something called cross-device verified visits, which once an ad is served on the TV screen, if somebody in the home engages or sees the ad, right, the ad has to be actually played to completion. And then if someone visits the website of that brand in the home on a household device, you're able to track that, no QR code necessary. So yeah, when you, QR codes are cool. You should do them if you think that it's going to help drive engagement, especially if you're running on linear. But CTV, you're getting the full picture versus just that one action.
Awesome. And our next question is, did your study discover travel brands CTV adoption in relation to other channels?
Yeah, definitely. I think there was a slide earlier in the deck that was kind of detailing how people were going to prioritize digital moving forward. And yeah, it's definitely being bucketed in with those other ad channels. And so it's one of those things that supports all of those other initiatives. Made mention earlier that it has this halo effect. And if you're running these prestige TV ads, it's going to raise your profile and make those other ads more engaging. I'm hesitant to mention it because I don't have the hard numbers, but anecdotally speaking, we have seen this on brands that we work with on their GA accounts. Once a campaign launches for connected TV, you see these upticks across other channels as well. That's kind of a big deal. And so like connected TV for that alone should be a piece, at least a piece of how you're approaching your digital ad spending. So yeah, check out the report. We're going to share that QR code at the bottom, or I'm sorry, at the end of this presentation. I think we'll also probably include it in the recap email maybe. So check out the report for the details, but yeah, it's definitely in the mix. Travel marketers right now are still in a digital sense, leaning on other channels. They have proven winners. They want to stick with that. Why would you not? But CTV is finding its way into that list as well.
Good to know. And our next question is, can you share the breakdown of the travel brands interviewed for the study?
Yeah. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I will say download the report again. But the types that I saw were car rentals, hotels, hospitality, airlines, experiential brands. It was a pretty wide variety. So the ones that I'm forgetting right now, if you're thinking it, you're like, oh, I wonder if such and such was on there. It probably was. But we have a full breakdown in the report.
Gotcha. Another person wants to know, we're one of those rare B2B travel brands. Is there still value in CTV for us, or is it still more of a B2C or a D2C play?
Yeah, it's a good question. And yeah, the B2B travel brand. I remember my first office job was working with one of them. It was like corporate travel. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was a thing. So yeah, to your point, I think it is useful for a B2B brand. And for all the reasons listed, because of that audience targeting, you're able to not only find consumers that are interested in just travel, but you're able to zero in on B2B audiences specifically as well. And we've seen folks target based on job title, industry, trade show attendance, which is crazy. So if you have a trade show that you think that your audience would be at, you can target those folks. Revenue numbers, it's a lot of B2B data that you can really tap into. So if you are in the B2B space and a travel brand, you have a very handy tool in CTV. So yeah, check it out. I recommend it.
Awesome. Our next question is, what advice would you have for a travel brand ready to advertise on CTV for the first time?
I would say that like get a sense of the landscape, figure out what your goals are, because that's the nice thing about connected TV advertising is you can take whatever your overall goals are, and a goal that you might have had that you kind of thought was specific to a paid search campaign or a paid social campaign where you're trying to drive conversions, this lower funnel thing. Get a sense of like, do you want to try that with TV? Because you can, and we saw in the example shared that it will succeed, or it has a very high chance of success. So I would say just learn about all the options out there. Find the solution that's going to match what you're trying to do, and experiment. I would say this is a good ad channel for experimentation. You're able to, again, get those digital components of marketing. So you can A/B test creative, which is kind of bonkers. You can test a TV ad against another one and really get a sense of which message is landing. And so it's a great area to kind of get a sense of like, what's your audience engaging with? Are they engaging? And, you can drive actual outcomes based on those learnings. So yeah, I think that's the advice there.
Good to know. And our next question is, I'm not from a travel brand, but joined because my organization is travel adjacent as an entertainment venue. What strategies would you have for us?
Yeah, I would say the geolocation is probably good. I think the audience targeting is strong options as well. I mean, if you are a venue, you're probably trying to reach folks within a certain few zips or city or state, what have you. So you have that option with the geo-targeting. Interest-based is always good. We worked with the Atlanta Hawks who were using it for to generate ticket sales. They saw a lot of success, and they were doing very similar. Like they were targeting folks who enjoyed basketball, obviously, but also other sports and live events. And then they geo-targeted the greater Atlanta area and in greater portions of Georgia, and it worked out pretty well. So yeah, if you have like a localized audience, this is a good avenue to pursue.
Great to know. And our final question is, you talked about bite-sized social content losing popularity to TV. Our budgets are a little tight right now. Should we dial back on paid social?
I think if it's working, you should pursue it. But I know that there's been trouble with attribution. So I can't speak specifically to whatever, the special circumstances that you have. But I would say if it's working, go with it. But I will say that we did a study with Digiday earlier in the year, and from the marketers we surveyed there, a bulk of them were pulling money from social and putting it into connected TV. So, and I could see like that makes sense to me because, visual, it's a video, very successful format on social is video. Take those video assets, you bring it to connected TV. You just have to modify the assets maybe, and you just run them on CTV. It's worth experimenting, and you can find a very effective ad channel. So you just kind of have to take the risk, I guess. Experiment, bring some budget to CTV and see if it works for you. And if it does, then fantastic, because you just unlocked a new effective ROI ad channel. So yeah, I'm biased, but yeah, take the risk to do it.
Yeah, definitely great to know. These were definitely some great questions coming from you all. With that, I'd like to thank you all for attending today. Thank you to our audience for joining us, and a special thank you to Tim for delivering this great session with great insights. If you submitted a question we didn't get to, we will follow up with you shortly. And you can also look forward to receiving an on-demand link to this presentation directly to your email. So keep a lookout for that. And also, if you enjoyed today's session, feel free to dive further into some more insights in Mountain's content by scanning the QR code that you see in front of you. And with that, I'm going to just bring this program to an end. Thank you all so much. On behalf of Mountain, Digital Travel, and the WBR Insights team, we thank you all for your time. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.